Hello, everyone. I have a slight tickle in my throat. I am healthy and well, just a slight tickle. So if I get the a little bit of the cough, don't worry, I'm okay. So for props today, of course, we want our cozies. You want to grab your extra blankies and pillows, and I'm bundled up because I'm freezing. So feel free to do the same. And the other thing I'd like you to have is so I have a couple of options here that I wanted to show you. Obviously, we have our blocks. If we have blocks at home, something you can definitely use. Also, the hardback book wrapped up in a towel will work really well in place of a block. The other thing you can do is, this is a sock. Well, if you can see it so well. And I just have tennis balls in it. There's 2 tennis balls in this sock. And that will work well in place of either of those things. You could also use a hard water bottle. This is just a Nalgene bottle. It's that hard plastic that's not going to collapse under me, which you could also put into a sock so that it doesn't slip underneath your hair or your clothing. So go ahead and grab one of those items or get creative. The reason I want you to have something like this is because we're going to start from the top of the scalp, or not the scalp, but the top of the spine, the cervical spine, with a little bit of myofascial release. So we're targeting that occipital ridge back there, which the very base of the skull, there's the right and left lobe that connects into the cervical spine. There's a lot of nerve endings there that we're going to be targeting and releasing. So it might feel kind of tender, excuse me, and it also might feel really good. So you know, whatever your experience is, it's okay as long as you can breathe and relax into this. So once you've got your tool, whatever it is that you're using, you're going to set that at the top of your mat. I'm going to take both of mine with me so I can kind of try both and we'll see which one I like best. You're welcome to do the same. As far as your legs go, you can, keep your knees bent or you could stretch your legs out long. It's your choice. So the idea here is that you get this. Maybe it's a block, or maybe it's your little sock full of tennis balls or a water bottle right at the base of the skull. So not at the neck, but just the very base of the skull where the neck connects to the head. And it's kind of a tender place. So fiddle around with your prop for a few minutes. Maybe you try a few different props. If you're using a block or a book, be sure that that is a flat surface for your head. You kind of move your head right to left, really gentle, two times. And then they start to find the center. So feel that center point in between right and left lobe. And just let the back of your head be heavy there. You can stretch out your arms to the sides. You might feel some sensation along the sides of the neck, maybe along the shoulders. Take a few minutes here to close the eyes and just relax in this particular shape. Really slowly, we're going to start to turn the head off to the right. And I mean slow, like glacial pace, slower than a turtle, okay? So like, imagine I'm standing over you and I'm watching you. You're moving your head so slow to the right that I can't even see the movement. Eventually, this will take some time because you're moving that slow. You'll find this end range of motion and your head will just rest off to the right side. And so once your head finds that end range of motion, let it be heavy there. Let your jaw relax and all of the muscles of the face. We'll stay on this right side for another minute. Just letting the head be heavy. Really slow, just as slow, if not slower. Same way you moved your head off to the right, you're going to start to find that trajectory back through center. And feel free to pause anywhere along the way. Take a few breaths in those tender places. Eventually you'll find your way back through center. And just pause and rest there for a moment. So you might notice now a difference between the right side of your scalp and the left side of your scalp. Even the right and the left side of the neck, noticing any really subtle shifts or changes. Remember, the slower you go, the better. Let's start to descend off towards the left. And this side might feel different. Might feel more tender or less tender. And try to just notice without judging what you're feeling. You find that end range of motion, just rest your head heavy off to your left. Keep relaxing the shoulders, the arms. Feel the full weight of the body. Be here for about 1 minute. Nice and slow, we'll start our ascent back through center. Feel free to pause anywhere along the way. Take your time, the slower the better. Eventually, when you do find your head centered on whatever you're lying on, take a couple few, take a few breath cycles there through center. And when you're ready, very gentle, remove your prop from underneath the back of your head. So you're letting the back of your head come down to the mat, the floor, whatever you're lying on. Now your whole body is in the same plane. Take a few moments here to breathe, to settle. Notice how that feels on the neck, on the shoulders, on the whole length of the spine. Next, if the legs are stretched out, bend the knees. We'll plant the feet. And let the feet be about hip-width distance apart. Find a very gentle, subtle rocking motion of the pelvis. So on your inhale breath, you're gonna lift the belly up towards the ceiling, pressing the tailbone into the mat. So there's a space underneath the low back. And then on your exhale, let the low back, the lumbar spine press down into the mat, kind of curl the tailbone up towards the backs of the knees. So the hips are staying on the mat the whole time. It's a small movement. Just do that a couple of times. Inhaling and exhaling as you go. Good. So now we'll walk our feet closer together so they're more like almost touching, if not touching. And then stretch that right foot up towards the ceiling. Keep your left knee bent and the foot planted. Cross your right ankle on top of your left thigh, making a figure 4 shape on your back. You can start to move that side to side, so you're rolling to your outer and inner left foot, maintaining that right ankle on top of the left thigh. This can be a big movement, it can be a small movement. When you come back through center, see if you can plant that left foot and just heel toe it towards the right a few inches. So you're kind of creating this diagonal with the torso. The hips are kind of moving off to the right. Your shoulders are staying just as they are. Take that figure 4 shape all the way off to the left. The outer edge of the left leg relaxes down to the mat. Sole of the right foot plants. If the floor is feeling really far away for the legs and the foot, you gather props underneath the sole of that foot. So you can take whatever you were using underneath the back of the head. That can be a footrest. Or you can pile things underneath the outer left thigh. Do try to keep your right knee pointing up towards the ceiling. Do try to keep relaxing that left leg. It's a little bit of a twist sensation, a little bit of myofascial release for that left glute. Softening in here. We'll take a little bit longer in this shape, about 3 minutes. If you want to, you can take your left hand down and just gently wrap the fingers around that right ankle. Okay, that might add a lot for me. That's making my right thigh cramp, so I'm going to release that. Sometimes it feels good, and every day is different, so be mindful of your body. If you do have a hold of the ankle with the hand, then your right arm, you might extend that up and overhead. Like you're creating a little bit more space along the right side body. Or you can just do what I'm doing. I'm just stretching my arms out wide to the sides. See if you can completely relax all of the muscles, the bones, skin, and soften here. We'll take about 5 more breath cycles in this shape. Focusing your attention and awareness on a really deep, slow inhale. See if you can take the air all the way down to the belly. Similar on your exhale, letting the navel fall back into the spine, slow and smooth, out through the nose. On your next inhalation, we'll start to release and unwind out of this shape. Rolling the hips back through center. Re-extend that right foot towards the ceiling, and then let the right foot come to the floor. Take a few moments to pause here with both of your feet planted, rocking the hips, that little pelvic rock, tip of the tailbone, lifting the belly, and then letting the navel hugs into the spine, low back presses down, the tailbone tightly curls up. And let that go. Inhale, left foot towards the ceiling. Bend the knee and cross that left ankle over the right thigh. Just a figure 4 shape, so you're not crossing the legs completely. Left knee is pointing out to the left side. Start to rock this right to left. As you're moving side to side here, notice if this feels any different. On this side versus the first side. As you come back up through center, plant the sole of that right foot so you can just walk that foot towards the left. So you're making that hips kind of adjacent to your shoulders so that when you tip the figure 4 shape off to the right, your hips are still in line with your spine. Okay, so outer right leg is completely relaxed on a prop or the floor. Same with the sole of the left foot on a prop or the floor. Left knee still pointing up towards the ceiling. Always the option here to bind, but know that that's just an option. It does not need to work for your body. It's okay if it doesn't. Let your shoulders be heavy. Back of the head relax. And as you're settling into stillness of the shape, can you make an effort, kind of an oxymoron, an effort to relax all of your muscles, your bones, your skin even, relax. Just under 3 minutes on this side. We have about 5 deep breath cycles here. See if you can slow the breath down. Can you send the breath all the way to the belly? On your next inhalation, start to unwind the hips. Roll the hips back to that flat surface. Extend that left foot. And then plant the left foot down onto the mat. Okay. So our last shape, it can be Shavasana. You could just like literally lengthen out right here and soften into Shavasana. What I'm going to take and what I was planning on having us do today is legs up the wall or legs over the back of a chair, much like I offer at the end of Shavasana during most of our restorative classes. But that's actually what I'm going to set up today. And no worries if it doesn't work for you, if you don't have the space for it, it's totally fine. Something that you could, though, just an idea, pick up your device. If your bed is nearby or a couch is nearby, you can easily do this in bed, just moving the legs over the headboard or up the headboard, or just taking the backs of your knees against the seat of a couch. If you are going to stay on the floor and take legs up the wall, you might want to turn your mat, or I've placed blankets there because the surface of the floor tends to be a little bit colder. Getting legs up the wall can be kind of a challenge if you're not used to it. So I always like to come at it from this kind of crouched position on my side. I have my shoulders in contact with the wall. I have my sits bones in contact with the wall. And then I'll just kind of tuck and roll onto a shoulder, onto a side, And continue kicking my legs up the wall until I feel like I'm pretty well balanced right to left. And it's okay if the sits bones don't touch the wall. In fact, that might be if you have really tight hamstrings or something going on in the low back. That might be a lot. So feel free to scoot away from the wall even. And then one other option in the opposite spectrum of that is to elevate the pelvis, kind of like you would in a supported bridge pose. You can bend the knees, lift the hips up by placing the feet against the wall and sliding a prop underneath the sacrum or the low back. Sometimes that feels nice. So you could check it out for yourself and see if you like it. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, start to settle in, make any of those small adjustments that you need. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. And slightly tilt the chin towards the chest. Take a big breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, exhale the air out. Feel your back teeth part. Let your tongue widen at the base of your mouth. Feel your eyes sink heavy into their socket. And with the eyes closed, just resting your awareness to that space right in between the eyebrows, which might look kind of like black, fuzzy TV screen. You might even see colors or shapes. Settling your awareness there. Try not to see anything, but notice as you become more and more relaxed, colors and shapes may or may not emerge out of the darkness. You have more time to spare in your Shavasana. Feel free to stay longer. If you need to move on with your day, gently start to bring your awareness back to this body, back to this breath. And movement of fingertips and toes. Move your head right to left. If your legs are up the wall, you can start to bend your knees and let your thighs rest towards your chest. If you're flat out on your back, you can inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. And from your back, rolling off to a side fetal position for just a moment. Continue into your hands, pressing up to a seat. I'll just briefly close out our practice. Taking a moment to sit tall. Feel the length of your spine and your shoulders relax. Joining the hands together at the heart, bowing the chin to the chest, honoring your effort and your practice. May we use the fruits of this practice to serve our highest good, reach our highest potential, share it with those around us that we love or who could use healing. Together we send love and healing to all sentient beings around the world that may be suffering. May they be happy. May they be free. Namaste, everyone.